Ladies and gentlemen, the Proctor.
You were all, he's now 60 years old. I was almost 20. I was 19 when he was born.
I was picking up speed. Let's see how we do in another 50 years.
Yeah, well, I'll still be here. You know, I think it's best. I've been studying why we do what we do now for 52 years. 52 years this year. I picked up a book and I started studying. I've known Cheyenne since she was, before she knew that I was even there. She was just a little tiny baby. But if you never stop studying the same thing, you'll learn a lot about it, even if you're a little slow. So I was thinking coming in here, rather than coming in and teaching you something that I think you should learn, why don't you start asking me questions, and if I know the answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't know it, all about why we do what we do. And if I don't know, I'd probably know where you could find it. Who's got any questions? Yeah?
Why do we have a different self-image of ourselves that may be negative, even if everybody around us gives us positive words?
Well, you and I, all of us, we are the confluence of a genetic pool of ignorance that goes back for generations. That's really what's the problem. And you have to ask, where'd I come from? A little particle of energy from Mom, a little particle of energy from Dad came swimming along, and they joined together. And that formed the nucleus of you. So you've got all Mom's DNA, all Dad's DNA, all their habit patterns built right in at the moment of conception. And then 280 days later, you make your debut on the planet, and you're the product of the people that you're surrounded by. That's why you speak the language you speak. I do a lot of work in Asia in different countries. I have an associate over there that had a little boy. At 4 years old, the kid could speak 4 languages. But that's not uncommon in some places in the world. If you grow up where there's multiple languages spoken, you'll learn all the languages. Well, it's in that little life. First of all, it's genetic. That's why we look like our relatives. And then in our little life, up till about 4 or 5, that's where your self-image formed. Now, some people never, ever change it. And if the image happens to be screwed up, they pay for it with their life. You can stop and change your self-image. Your self-image is like a thermostat on the wall. It controls the temperature of the room. Well, the thermostat controls your results, your self-image. But that's why. It started when you were just a little tiny kid. You see, the people that raised us, they didn't understand all this. They'd be preaching about hard times and how tough it is, you know, you just get one bill paid and then another one pops up. And so we grew up, most of us, with a poverty consciousness, with being controlled by what's going on outside. We're trained and conditioned to let our outside world control us. But in truth, we should let the inside world control us. That's what you're learning. Yeah?
So something I'm dealing with a lot right now is I'm well aware that I'm powerful beyond measure, and I can accomplish anything I want to, and that's kind of my problem is I know that, and so I feel constantly guilty that I'm not further along with my purpose in life, and then I'm comparing myself to other people who are doing bigger, better projects than I am, but the problem is I know I'm capable of it, so it's this weird cycle of constantly feeling I should be further along than I am.
Okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions, Sharon. What do you think of guilt as an emotion? Is it constructive?
No.
Okay. And you have the ability to choose, don't you? Yeah. Guilt and resentment are 2 dumb emotions. They're very inappropriate. Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other guy dies. I mean, it's a dumb thing to do. Guilt is dumb too. That's like trying to change what time you get out of bed this morning. It's trying to bring the past into the present so we can relive it. You can't. All you've got is now. Now is something like word processing without a memory. You can't bring it back. It's gone. So you know that, and you know to compare to another person is sort of not right, is it? Yeah. Okay. Well, now you know these things. Let's just take what you know, and let's say I'm not going to compare me with anybody else anymore. I know that I've got potential beyond the scope of my imagination. And I'm not gonna feel guilty about what I did. Everything that I've done up to this point has made me the person I am, preparing me to do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend my days doing what I love doing. That's the way you're gonna be alive. You don't have to spend your days doing what I love doing. You don't have to do what I'm doing because I love it. You do what you love doing. And that's where you're gonna be fulfilled. That's when you're gonna pull all this potential that you grew up knowing about to the surface. Make sense?
Mhm.